I could still feel the warmth of the sun setting outside as the party buzzed around me, its glow spilling through the hall's windows, casting long shadows over what was supposed to be a joyous occasion. My father, the man who oozed authority with every stern syllable that left his lips, had just turned a simple family gathering into a battlefield. "She's an embarrassment," he said, his voice cutting clear across the room. A remark directed at my daughter Lily, who was stumbling through her notes. My heart sank, tension suffocating the air as laughter died abruptly. The laughter, the snickers owed in my ears, but the clinks of champagne glasses drowned in a sea of discomfort. I shifted in my seat, forcing a weak smile. My stomach knotted with indignation. Lily, a bright 10-year-old with a heart as vast as the sky, sat frozen. I had tried my best to shield her from his harsh judgments, but nothing could prepare me for the raw truth of his words. "You should be ashamed," whispered the crowd in unison, with every sneer aimed at my vulnerable girl. As the evening wore on, embarrassment morphed into something darker, a protective fire igniting inside me. I couldn't let my father's cruel words define her or our night. It was then a spark of bravery ignited within Lily. She stood up, her hands clutching the edges of her notes, determination bright in her eyes. The chatter hushed, curiosity taking over the crowd. "Grandpa," she began, her voice trembling but steady, "you taught me that life isn't just about perfection." She spoke of their shared ice cream runs, her grandfather's unexpected kindness hidden beneath layers of his tough exterior. Her words flowed like a river, as she recounted how the fabric of their relationship was woven with love and lessons, even if he had forgotten those moments. In the throbbing silence of that crowded room, I realized, amidst the sea of shocked faces, there was something deeper at play within my father's anger. Just then, a whisper of truth danced in the air. Something within me churned as I grasped the possibility that this wasn't merely about my daughter's moment of redemption. The past held secrets I had evaded for too long. Just as Lily concluded, her voice echoing with newfound strength, a hidden reality dared to surface. What could it possibly be? "Promise me you'll join me for the next chapter. It might just change everything we thought we knew about our family." And before we continue with this surprising journey, a quick reminder for all you story lovers. YouTube has been removing subscriptions lately. Please double-check if you're still subscribed and leave a like to support our channel. Now, back to this pivotal moment. The crowd sat silent, each heartbeat reverberating in the charged atmosphere as Lily's voice lingered. "You once said to me that sometimes the strongest people don't wear armor," she continued, glancing around, her confidence blossoming. I watched in awe as the girl I thought of as my little shadow transformed into a young woman before my eyes, courageous and unyielding. Then, something magical happened. The tension in the room shifted. The air rippled like water when a stone is tossed in. Grandfather's eyebrows knitted together, his face a mask of confusion battling pride. He wasn't expecting this, an unexpected card drawn from an unseen deck. "Lily, he began hesitantly, but she pressed on, undeterred. "Every story you told me, every lesson you thought I didn't understand, shaped who I am today. I love you, Grandpa, even when it feels like I'm just an embarrassment." Her honesty cut deep, the words floating in the air like a mystical key, unlocking something buried within my father. I could see the vulnerability creeping in, hidden behind the stern frown. And with that proclamation, a cascade of suppressed feelings began to spill from him. "I never wanted to disappoint you, Lily. Life, it was always pushing me to be perfect," he admitted, voice thick with emotion. A glimpse of the boy he once was, caught under the weight of his own father's expectations. As she stepped closer, the distance between them began to shrink, and I felt the strands of family ties reconnecting. Their eyes locked, and for the first time, I saw understanding instead of judgment flickering in my father's gaze. The stark reality tugged at my heart. What if my father's harsh judgments stemmed from his own childhood struggles? Before I could delve deeper into this newfound revelation, the moment was interrupted by a voice from the crowd. "Tell us more, Lily," shouted someone, bridging the silence into an unexpected wave of support. I felt a spark of hope ignite within me, a glimmer of change in a family that had long been stuck in patterns of pain. What would Lily reveal next? Would my father's heart truly soften, or were we merely witnessing a fleeting change? Join me in the next chapter as we unravel the threads of their story, the past, the future, and the invaluable lessons hidden in the tapestry of family love. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as we dive even deeper. Trust me, you won't want to miss what comes next. As I stood there, watching the once stately man in the corner flounder under the weight of my daughter's powerful words, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief washing over me. "I love you," she had said, her voice ringing with sincerity. It was a phrase that hung in the air, as tangible as the scent of flowers from the nearby garden, yet so different from what we'd heard at family gatherings in the past. Life was never about being flawless. It was about growth, wasn't it, Grandpa? Lily continued, her small frame towering in courage. I felt my own heart swell as she turned her gaze toward those eyes that had primarily cast judgment and found compassion hidden beneath years of learned hostility. The crowd began to shift, a gentle energy circulating as encouragement sparked anew. "We're with you, Lily," someone shouted, rallying support, echoing my own thoughts. It was in that moment that I realized the truth about my father. His harshness wasn't merely about coaxing perfection. It stemmed from a fear he had buried for so long. The more I thought about it, the more I saw the tender child he had been, caught in a storm of unrealistic expectations. "Tell us your story, Grandpa." Another voice echoed out, reminding me how much love existed beneath the surface of our family's struggles. At that moment, a flicker of possibility ignited in me. Could we rewrite our story? Could healing begin today? Just as I pondered this, something caught my eye. A flicker of regret passed over my father's face, as if he were confronting his past demons for the first time. "Lily," he murmured, words weighed down by the truth that had gone unspoken for too long. What would emerge from this conversation? Promise me you'll stick around, because what happens next is bound to unravel the threads of our tangled family history. And if you're enjoying this journey, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for the next chapter, where all the secrets are finally laid bare. The air felt electric as the room murmured around us, the tension palpable and yet strangely promising. I could still see the flickering lights dancing in my father's eyes as he wrestled with the impact of Lily's words. Life was never about being flawless, she had said, but it was clear that my father had been living under the giant shadow of a perfect life for far too long. What had he hoped to achieve with that angle of discipline, a legacy, acceptance? As he stood there, wrestling with the ghosts of his past, I couldn't help but wonder what had shaped him into the man he had become. "Lily," he finally managed to articulate, but the words caught somewhere between his heart and mind, lost in a battle of emotion. The hesitant start hung in the air like a balloon yet to be released. The crowd leaned in, hungry for the next chapter of this heartfelt family drama. Would he finally let us see a glimpse of his vulnerability? "Grandpa, it's okay," Lily said, her voice steady and forgiving, counterbalancing the fear I could see edging around his features. There was strength in her youth that sparked a transformation, one I desperately hoped could be contagious. We were caught in a moment where healing felt just a breath away. He took a step towards her, fingers twitching, as if wanting to reach out yet stalled by a lifetime of conditioned distance. "I'm not the man you think I am," he began again, and I could feel the room inhale collectively, 1,000 ears attuned to unveil a long-filtered truth. The words poured hesitantly, like spring water breaking through rock. "I thought I was preparing you for the world, but I realize now I was just afraid." I leaned against the cool wall behind me, heart racing, sensing a shift not just in him, but in our entire family dynamic. Afraid of what? The comment echoed in many minds, but those were my own thoughts, a curiosity that pushed me to pry deeper. "Life has always been about expectations," he continued, a tremor in his voice that only affirmed the tumultuous journey he had endured. "I grew up under a father who demanded excellence. I thought I was helping you both, not repeating that mistake." Tears began to glisten in his eyes sharp. crystal reflections of regrets that had been tied up within him for years, perhaps decades. Lily stepped a fraction closer, innocent yet wise in her calm demeanor. "But Grandpa, you weren't just my mentor. You were my safety net. Your strength gave me the courage to be me, to speak my truth." The clarity of her sentiment caught him like a wave breaking over fragile rocks. It was effortlessly powerful, yet barely contained. "It's okay to be flawed." Her voice rang out softly, echoing what she might have learned from my own struggles as a mother. Flawed isn't embarrassing. Flawed is human. It makes us more colorful. The crowd sighed, longing now driving the energy swirling in the room. It was as if layers were peeling back, revealing a deeper shared essence we never had the courage to explore. And while the tears were flowing, I felt this beautiful empathy radiating, Lily helping the very man who had tried to criticize her moments before. What I wouldn't give to capture this moment in time, a moment that felt almost sacred, as if we were all collectively broken, yet beautifully pieced together. My father hesitated again, wrestling with his thoughts like a child tangled in a pair of too small shoes. He took a breath, sturdy yet vulnerable. "I thought toughness was love, but I see now. I see through your eyes, Lily. My love was misplaced." There finally, the admission floated into the air, mingling with the hopes of those present. I dared to breathe as I sensed a shift in the room. His gaze softened, locking onto Lily, a connection blooming in the space between them. The confrontation of past hurts was a hard one, but there was a gentleness now wrapped around the conversation that hadn't been there before. "I love you too, Lily. I always have." The audience marveled as grandfather and granddaughter exchanged glances full of warmth. A sacred truth solidifying an unbreakable bond. I couldn't shake the thought, could this finally bridge the generational gap that had ravaged our family for too long? Could this be a tipping point that leads to healing? But something deeper was waiting just beneath the surface. What about my journey? What pieces of my story remained unresolved? I could feel my pulse quickening, unsettling questions circulating within me. I wanted answers. I needed reassurance that this transition would echo beyond the night, into our lives as we navigated the murky waters of family dynamics. Can we be more than this? I wondered, my walls shifting, as all eyes remained transfixed on my father's every word. Can we rewrite our story? I felt the anticipation swell, urging the old wounds to bleed into open air. It's not just about fixing things, it's about understanding, isn't it? Lily prompted, not only speaking to her grandfather, but also making space for me to join this courageous exchange. The atmosphere buzzed around us, an electric undercurrent thrumming beneath the laughter and tears. Was it possible they were paving a path for me too? "Yes, my darling," my father finally replied, a tender smile illuminating his face as though he were witnessing the sun for the first time. "And we will, together." I glanced around the room, the faces of family members morphing with understanding and acceptance. Every tension-laden moment seemed to coil and dissipate, surrendering to something more profound, a combination of love and connection. But just as optimism flickered like the soft light of flickering candles, shadows of uncertainty loomed. What awaited us once the applause faded? What paths were still left untraveled, lurking just beyond the horizon? Join me in the next chapter, where we confront the deeper realities settled within the shadows of our hearts, the secrets we've been too afraid to voice. Together, we will navigate the turbulence of forgiveness, learning to heal, together. And don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you're ready to embark on this journey of redemption and discovery that reaches far beyond a retirement party. Our story has only just begun, and I promise, the next step might just hold the key to everything. As the energy in the room ebbed and flowed, my father's tentative smile tugged at something deep within me. Perhaps this was the catalyst we had all needed, a revolution born at a retirement party. The previous tensions dissipated, and an uncharted path seemed to emerge, one that invited us all to rewrite our family narrative. Can we find a way to be better together, to support each other? Lily's voice echoed the sentiment that hung palpably in the air, as if she were a compass navigating the murky waters of our emotional landscape. Each person in the room held their breath, caught in the spell of her innocence and bravery. Anticipation hung like a cloud, thick and heavy, waiting for the rain of truth to pour down. You've always been my pride, but I let my fear twist that into something else entirely. My father finally confessed, his facade of authority cracking wider as his emotions spilled forth. I wanted you both to be the best you could be on impossible ideal. How poignant it was that the man who had wielded his judgments like swords was now offering us the balm of honesty. We don't need to be perfect, Lily responded, her voice steady. We just need to be real. Can we start there? Her words transformed the atmosphere around us. They rolled like gentle waves, touching those who had once turned away. I leaned against the wall, my heart swelling. She had bridged the gaps I thought would forever remain unbridgeable. I don't even think I know what real is anymore, he admitted, glancing upward as if searching for answers among the stars. My heart ached for him. The same man who had sent us into hiding under the shadow of his expectations now opened himself to vulnerability. Lily approached him and offered her hand. Let's figure it out together. I need your guidance, Grandpa, not your judgment. And just like that, the walls that had separated generations began to crumble under the weight of sincerity. In that charged silence, I felt a longing to be part of this unfolding. I stepped forward, my voice barely above a whisper. Can I join this inquiry too? I've been fighting my own battles. My father's gaze shifted from Lily to me, an awareness dawning in those depths. Perhaps it was never just about the two of us. We were all caught in this dance of expectations, grappling with legacies that felt heavy enough to choke us. A quiet resolve settled in the room. Let's take it one day at a time, my father exclaimed, his shoulders relaxing as the barrier of stoicism fell away. We can share our pasts, why we are the way we are, no more secrets. The crowd erupted into gentle applause, but it was suffused with warmth, not mere politeness. I felt the collective sigh of relief wash over us, the haunting shadows of embarrassment banished in the face of empathy and connection. And then, with the turning tide, my thoughts sparked a flash of realization surged within me. I was ready to confront the pain I had been guarding, the harsh judgments I had internalized from him, and even from myself. Can we also address what happened with Lily? Can we face the truth of that moment together? A respectful silence descended again as anticipation intertwined with fear, creating an uneasy, yet transformative space. I never should have said that, not in front of anyone, my father replied, remorse lacing his words. That night wasn't just about perfection, it was about me, wasn't it? It was, I said softly, but it was also about communication, what you needed to say, and how it impacted us. The clarity of our discussion illuminated those shadowy corners of our lives. We were no longer shackled by expectations. But we can change, can't we? He asked, searching our faces for affirmation, as if promising to reinvent himself in front of us. And in unison, Lily, my father, and I spoke, yes. It resonated like ripples in a pond, reverberating through our tiny gathering and outside into the world, carrying with them hope and transformation. As the night wore on, I realized that each heartfelt word exchanged laid another brick in the road, leading us toward healing. I could sense a new chapter unfolding, not just in our lives, but in the fabric of our family's legacy. As the party dwindled and laughter transformed into soft murmurs, I looked around and saw the light washing over the faces of those I loved. None of us was perfect. We were beautifully flawed and imperfectly human. Now, as we build on this fragile, yet powerful foundation, I invite you to join my family in this ongoing journey of growth and reconciliation. If you've felt the weight of expectations or know someone who has, don't forget to support our story by subscribing. Let's carve out a space together where we can navigate life's complexity. Because real change, heartfelt healing, and familial love commence from sharing our truths. Moments like these remind us that every ending can also be a beginning, and together, we can create a legacy built on understanding, compassion, and love. Thank you for being part of our journey. This is just the beginning, and I can't wait to share what lies ahead.